The stage lights rise slowly as a father and his young son step forward together, their hands tightly clasped as if drawing strength from one another. They pause for a brief moment at the center of the stage, clearly overwhelmed by the size of the theater and the thousands of eyes fixed on them. Their clothing is simple and modest, telling a silent story of a life built on struggle rather than comfort. The son grips the microphone with both hands, his shoulders slightly tense, while the father offers a reassuring smile, gently nodding to let him know everything will be okay. When the judges ask where they are from, the father speaks softly, explaining that they have traveled from Manila and that music has always been their way to survive. His voice carries humility and pride at the same time. The audience listens politely, unsure of what to expect. At the judges' table, Simon Cowell leans back in his chair, arms crossed, his expression neutral and cautious, clearly not anticipating anything extraordinary. The son glances toward his father one last time, his eyes filled with both fear and hope. The father places a comforting hand on his shoulder, grounding him in the moment. The room feels quiet, heavy with anticipation. As the background music cue begins to play, a subtle shift occurs. What seemed like an ordinary audition now feels like the beginning of something deeply personal. In that silence before the first note, the bond between father and son becomes the true focus, hinting that this performance is not just about singing, but about love, sacrifice, and a shared dream waiting to be heard. The first note escapes the son's lips almost like a whisper, soft and fragile, yet perfectly controlled. Instantly, the atmosphere in the theater changes. Conversations stop, movements freeze, and every ear leans into the sound. His voice carries an unexpected purity, floating gently through the room and wrapping the audience in a quiet emotional grip. The fear on his face fades as confidence slowly takes over, each word delivered with heartfelt sincerity. As the melody continues, the father steps in, his voice deeper and warmer, blending seamlessly with his son's. Their harmonies feel natural, practiced not on grand stages, but in small rooms and crowded streets back home. There is a raw honesty in the way they sing together, as if they are telling their life story through sound alone. The song begins to grow, layer by layer, filling the space with emotion rather than volume. At the judges' table, Simon Cowell's posture changes. He uncrosses his arms and leans forward, his eyes locked on the stage. His expression shifts from doubt to curiosity, then to genuine surprise. The audience reacts the same way, with quiet gasps and exchanged glances, realizing they are witnessing something special. The light seems softer now, focused entirely on the duo, as if the world outside this moment no longer exists. By the time the son reaches the end of the first verse, it is clear that this performance has already broken expectations, and the journey unfolding on stage is far more powerful than anyone had imagined. As the song moves into its next phase, the emotional weight deepens and spreads through the entire theater. The father's voice begins to tremble slightly, not from weakness, but from the memories and sacrifices carried in every lyric. His eyes glisten under the stage lights as he sings, and for a moment, it feels as though he is reliving years of hardship, late nights, and unspoken prayers for his son's future. The son senses this shift and responds instinctively, lifting his voice with newfound strength and control. Their harmonies grow richer and more powerful, filling the space with a sound that feels both intimate and overwhelming. The audience is no longer just listening, they are emotionally invested. Some lean forward in their seats, others press hands to their mouths, and a few openly wipe away tears. The music builds steadily, each note carrying love, pain, and hope all at once. At the judges' table, the reactions become impossible to hide. One judge lowers their head, overcome with emotion, while another shakes in disbelief. Simon Cowell removes his glasses slowly, his eyes fixed on the stage, clearly moved by what he is hearing. His usual critical expression is gone, replaced by quiet respect and awe. The camera captures faces across the room, united by the same feeling. In this moment, the performance transcends competition. It becomes a shared human experience, where a father and son from Manila turn their personal journey into a powerful emotional connection felt by everyone watching. The final notes begin to soften, stretching delicately through the air as the song approaches its end. The son holds a long, trembling note with remarkable control, his voice steady despite the emotion written across his face. The father watches him with pride, adding a gentle harmony that feels almost like a blessing. When the music finally fades, the last note lingers for a heartbeat longer than expected, refusing to disappear too quickly. For a brief moment, the entire theater is completely silent. No applause, no cheers, just stunned stillness. Father and son stand frozen at center stage, unsure whether they should smile or bow. The son looks up at his father, searching his face for reassurance, while the father takes a slow breath, bracing for the judge's reaction. Then the silence breaks. Applause erupts suddenly, rising like a wave crashing through the room. People jump to their feet as cheers grow louder and louder. The energy becomes overwhelming. The father's eyes widen in disbelief, and the son's hands begin to shake as he realizes what is happening. At the judge's table, Simon Cowell stands up slowly, clapping with a look of genuine respect. His expression says everything. This was not what he expected at all. Other judges follow, smiling through tears. The father places an arm around his son, pulling him close as the crowd roars. In this moment, the performance is no longer just a song, it is a victory, earned through heart, courage, and an unbreakable bond. The applause continues to thunder through the theater when, suddenly, a single decisive sound cuts through the noise. The golden buzzer is pressed. For a split second, father and son stand motionless, as if unsure whether what they heard is real. Then golden confetti bursts from above, cascading down in a shimmering storm of light. The son's eyes widen in shock before filling with tears, his hands flying to his mouth as the reality of the moment sinks in. Overcome with emotion, the father drops to his knees on the stage, his head bowed as years of struggle, doubt, and sacrifice finally release. The son rushes into his arms, hugging him tightly as they cry together, surrounded by falling gold. The audience explodes with cheers, chanting and clapping as if witnessing history being made. At the judge's table, Simon Cowell smiles and nods slowly, his expression a mix of pride and disbelief. The usual sharp critic is gone, replaced by someone deeply moved by raw talent and genuine heart. Other judges stand, applauding and wiping away tears, fully aware that this moment has changed two lives forever. The father looks up at his son, his hands shaking as he holds his face, silently telling him that every hardship was worth it. The son nods through tears, unable to speak, his dream now unfolding before him. As the golden confetti continues to fall, the world watches a simple truth come alive on stage, that love, perseverance, and shared dreams can turn an ordinary audition into an unforgettable miracle.